All right. Hello and welcome to the Vertical Bar Podcast. I'm your co-host Jared, joining you from Orlando, Florida, as we dive into the latest tech innovations, tech trends, and just talk about the tech industry at large. And I'm here with.
I'm Marcus, your other co-host, now in Atlanta, Georgia, like I've always been, but now I'm closer to the city, which is awesome. Together, we're on a mission to explore, share, and demystify the world of technology.
From our own company, Vertical Bar Media, to the wider tech universe, we're here to delve into all things digital. But enough about us. What's on the topic list for today, Marcus?
Today, we have a tiny radioactive battery could keep your future phone running for 50 years, which is a long fucking time. Obviously, this has been reported by TechRadar.
Oof. Yeah, I'd love to not ever have to plug in my phone. I mean, I actually just want this for like the small stuff, like Apple
Yeah,
Watches. You gotta charge
I
those
know.
every day. Like my phone, I can get away with like a couple different times.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, hopefully it doesn't explode like Cat Williams did on that episode of Shannon Sharpe a couple weeks ago. It's crazy. He lit a fire under the industry. I mean, the YouTube
Cool.
video now has like 50 million views, 50 plus million views.
Really?
Absolutely
Good for
absurd.
him. Hopefully we can be that big soon, right? No, it's good. I'm glad that he came back. He's been sort of out of the picture for a little while, so it's good that he came back and looks like he had a big splash. So that's how you always want to
Yeah.
end the.
Well, I mean, I guess we
Yes.
kind of know why he was out of the limelight, huh?
Do we? Is that what was discussed in the interview?
He didn't, you don't, what?
Did they discuss that in the
Read
interview?
the next topic.
Okay, good, because I didn't watch it, but I totally want to talk about it. All right, so what I do know about, hey, it looks like Walmart is reportedly starting to purge physical games from their stores, reported by comicbook.com.
Yeah, so I mean, this is on the heels of it being removing that second topic there, huh? This comes
Yes.
on the heels of it of DVD sales just absolutely plummeting. Most
Yeah,
retailers removing DVD sales and removing DVDs. Um, I mean, it's
going
just
carbon neutral. Sorry.
yeah, but it's kind of crazy because there's also now a resurgence in like Blu-rays. It's just it's no longer a mass product, I
Yeah,
guess, in a mass consumable.
yeah.
But I still think there's a verified niche of people that want high quality physical media.
Yeah, I mean there is always going to be that group, who have the loudest voice online. I know what we'll talk about it at that time. Let's cover the first topic first.
All right.
Um,
Well,
well,
without forgetting to thank our AI overlords for scripting this intro, let's
yeah,
dive into it. So,
cool.
what's going on with this radioactive battery that we're gonna fit in my pocket?
All right, so we got TechRadar, right? TechRadar is a popular news site. They've been reporting on tech news for quite some time. I usually frequent them for sources for the Vertical Bar Media podcast. And it looks like they have a radioactive battery that could keep your future phone running for up to 50 years. It looks like it's a revolutionary battery, obviously a new type of battery utilizing radioactive decay, and it's actively being developed. The nuclear battery could power your phone for a staggering 50 years, which you've already said. I over I overstated that in our document. It's remarkably small, comparable to the size of a normal coin. It's currently in pilot testing, and the technology aims for commercial release soon. Um, Potential uses for this battery could extend beyond phones to drones, medical equipment, and more. And safety concerns are obviously a thing. Radioactive materials necessitate robust safety measures and regulations. Probably should have done better on this topic. Does
AI did
it
not
in
write that, right?
Of course, AI didn't write that at all. Is it safe, Jared? Do we know if it's safe?
We know nothing about it. This is a technology that is developed in house in China.
It, it looks like it's
Um,
safer. It can be proven to be safer, according to this article. It can't
I
catch
don't know.
fire or
Safe is a
explode, which is
relative
awesome.
term. Like,
It
I mean,
is, you're right.
I I don't know much about the construction of this, but using very thin layers of material, I think that it's
Hmm.
pretty possible to have extremely high voltages
Cool.
in radioactive
Beijing
materials
based.
through semi-permeable layers. And I think in that kind of quantity, because it's kind of crazy, because like an atom bomb, right? Like the atom bomb is kind of
Oppenheimer.
huge, but like the core of
Often.
it is very, very tiny. And that produces like all of the energy of the bomb. And it's like tiny, like smaller than a person. Um, and that kind of power is just unimaginable. Like me and you have never seen what a nuclear explosion looked like, and probably never felt one.
I saw
But
it in that
like,
movie though. I saw it in that movie with Christopher
did you
Nolan.
finally see Oppenheimer?
I did, and it was good. It was awesome. I loved it. I love the little like snippets and the previews of like the explosion and the I guess everything like building up. I thought the acting was horrible. It was stacked with a talented cast. I mean, just stacked. I just kept seeing people that I recognized throughout the entire film. Every 5 minutes, people had smaller roles who were big actors. I loved it. It was an amazing movie. I'm sad that it took me so long to finally watch it. But yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet, but I will. I will have to eventually.
Amazing, dude. It's amazing. It's really long, but it's just one of those movies. Obviously, like he's always done, sort of like Interstellar, where it's super long, but the dialogue is just so good and the performances are so perfect that it doesn't really feel like you're you're not bored. You're not bored, so it's good.
Yeah, so on to this battery. I mean,
That's right.
it's kind of weird because we already have a hard time finding materials for batteries and disposing of them. I wonder what a nuclear battery would kind of bring to that conversation. But
What would
one
one
with
plus
a
do?
lifetime of 50 years, like that's not something that we currently understand or even
Right.
have like the infrastructure to deal with. I mean, even UPS batteries for like servers, because computers usually have a backup battery if you're smart about it. Those need to be replaced every 10 years, and they're
Right.
like emergency batteries, right?
Yeah. So it looks like this battery is safe based off what I've looked up. The company that's producing this is called Betavolt. They're Beijing based. I don't know how 50 years would turn out for the American market. Pretty much, if you bought a battery that lasted that long, basically these tech companies wouldn't be able to make any money off of us. So I'm pretty certain that that wouldn't fly over here in the US in this capitalist environment.
I don't think so. I mean,
Yeah, I don't think so either.
right now, like
And what would
anything that
OnePlus
has a
do?
battery in it is limited by one, its weight, and two,
Yeah,
its size. It's not limited by somebody not wanting more battery in their device. Like you can't have more than 99.9 watt hours in a laptop because
mhm.
if you want to go on an airplane with it, that's the maximum size the battery can be. And so
Really?
batteries are
So
generally
that's the
limited
limitation?
by that functionality rather than like a lifetime.
Yeah. Wait, so
I don't know. It's kind of
cut
curious
back to
because
those
it doesn't.
airplanes
They
then.
didn't really offer what type of wattage it was useful for or anything like this. Like you think like a watch battery, like might be in a computer in the CMOS. Like those little tiny capacitor battery things. You're not listening to me, Marcus.
I am listening to
I
you. No,
called you.
I was thinking about the tiny capacitor battery thing. Are you talking about so like the little ones from like the watches?
Yeah, watch batteries.
Yeah, there you go. That was
Yeah,
in
so
watches.
like
Take
those,
them
if
out.
it's that kind of voltage and amperage, like that's not going to power anything, but they'll last forever. That's cool. But like I'm not replacing car batteries with it.
Yeah. Why not?
We don't know. We don't know what those specifications of it. We don't know if because batteries come in different forms and shapes because they need to have different power, right?
No, you
Car
can't
battery
replace
needs to
them
have a lot of
anywhere.
power
So
to start the engine just once. It doesn't need to have a whole lot of power other than that. So it needs to have like a high discharge rate. Whereas like a battery in a computer that keeps the memory, it just needs a small little bit, like, just a little bit of enough energy. It doesn't need to be like an instantaneous bang like starting an engine.
gotcha. Doesn't need had that much kick.
Yeah, because in drones it makes a lot of sense because when you get batteries, they have a C rating, which is called their capacitor or their either the capacitive charge. And what happens is if you get a battery that has like a 20 amp C rating and the motors actually draw that, it'll burn that battery because the battery is being drawn from faster than it can handle it, right? Because if you just like it's really kind of hard to explain with electronics, but I mean, it's kind of like you open up the floodgates on it. If you open up the floodgates on like a water bottle, if you let the water out too fast, it like crushes.
Yeah.
that's kind of what happens to a battery too. Like if the battery required is pulling too much from it, the battery will just collapse and it'll break.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Is that what happened with those Samsung Note 7s? Remember those Samsung Galaxy Note 7s that were blowing up everywhere? Does that have
Yeah, so
anything to do with
those,
that?
yeah, it's called I can't remember what the name of it, but it's like rapid combustion or something. And like they can just ignite from seemingly nothing.
That was insane. But
Yeah.
hey, the Note 8 was a beautiful fucking phone because that Note 7 got fucked. I had a Note 8 and it was awesome. So this is what
Yeah,
I'm
so it'll be
thinking.
exciting to follow this tech. I just hope it doesn't fall off
It
on the
really will.
wayside, something lame, like it just disappears into the ether and never comes about.
I was going to say that. It looks like China is always working on something that goes far beyond what our current capabilities are. I know that there was a company, oh my God, who was it called? I can't remember, but they were working on this wireless battery technology to where it was a Chinese company, obviously, and it's basically to where like I could charge my iPad, not my iPad, my Android tablet, excuse me. I could charge my tablet or my phone or anything that has a battery in it that can use that sort of wireless charging like from across the room, and it could like charge things literally wirelessly. And I don't think that ever came to anything. I think I looked at the article like a couple of years ago, but it seems like they're always working on stuff that maybe doesn't always come through. So this could just be another thing that can't be mass produced that we'll never actually see maybe for the next 5-10 years. It might become something, but it's just cool to know that the possibilities are there and that this is a direction that we can go in tech. Um, it's cool. I don't know. I was gonna bring this up earlier. I don't know what OnePlus would do because OnePlus is not very big on battery life, but they're good with charging. That's their big thing for their products. They want a quick charge, but they don't really care about how long the battery lasts. So this would take them out completely.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I hope it moves towards batteries being universal and being removable from devices.
Yeah, because that's
Because you
gone
think about a
now. It's
battery can
gone.
last for 50 years, but hey, my phone can't do two. Like, what's the point?
I miss having multiple batteries for my laptop and being able to just
Oh
swap them
yeah.
out.
I still
Man,
got an
I
old Fujitsu laptop that has two
really,
different battery trays in it. Like you can put in one and take
dude.
off the other and charge it and then swap them out again.
So cool. I remember when Dell had theirs, and it had those two bays in the front. You could put like a DVD disc thingy in there, like an
Oh
extra
yeah,
hard
yeah, yeah,
drive,
yeah.
or like two more batteries. And it's funny because I have this 17-inch Lenovo, and I'm lifting it up, which is why my camera's all over the place. But like, if I take the bottom piece off of this laptop, right? There's so much space in here. There's like I could put an extra SSD in here. There's no disk tray for any sort of like disk drive. So think of a
Hmm.
17-inch laptop. Think of how much space these things have in them.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like literally the motherboard and all the internal parts are literally only taking up like a third of the not chassis, but the internal space, and everything else is just empty. It's crazy. I wouldn't mind sticking an extra battery in here or being able to put something else in there, but all of those extra features and all the like the slots and everything for upgradability have been completely removed from phones and computers. I mean, well, laptops, not desktops. So it's just like I wish there was a market for stuff like that. I wish there was,
Yeah. I mean, it's
but
just constantly shifting. I mean,
it
I
is.
have like a card
What's
reader
that?
on my
I'm sorry.
desktop, and it just has like a dozen different types of card interfaces that are like mostly not used for anything anymore. It's
Can't
all
things
legacy connectors.
Like, don't phones, like, if things are tiny enough to fit in smartphones, why can't we make similar technology that can just like slide into a laptop, right? Like, if a phone is only so small, right, and there's a GPU like in the phone, right, enough to play video games, like, why can't stuff like that just be slid into like a SD card slot for like a laptop to like upgrade it? Like, it may
Yeah.
cost like $500, but I don't see why it's
Well,
something
it
that can't be
used
done.
to, and that's how laptops used to have upgraded functionality through the
Right.
compact flash express cards. And
Yes.
like you just like plug in like a little network port onto the side of your laptop and you get an extra network port or a modem
Yeah.
or some kind
Right.
of storage. Yeah, I got a
Everything's
couple of
too
those kind
fast
of
now.
devices.
Yeah, and like
I
docks
really do
and all
miss,
that stuff.
yeah, it kind of moved the way of the dongle though with
Yeah.
USB-C. I mean, you buy a USB-C dongle and like you get HDMI, you get Ethernet, you get USB-A Type 3,
Ethernet.
you get USB-C power delivery, the 60 watts. It's like, okay, I can deal with this.
Cool. Awesome.
Twist my arm a little bit, why don't you, huh?
Yeah, I miss the docks that would fit into the bottom of the
Oh
computer,
yeah, like the
right? And
laptops, like
just
you can just
like
dock onto
give you
the
this
desk.
big, yeah, this big like section in the back. I mean, you feel like I don't know. My mom used to always bring home some from her job, and like I used to take apart so many professional laptops, but like I miss stuff like that. Now everything is connected through a cord, and it's not as cool. Like dongles, even though they're smaller and more portable, right, which is
Yeah.
good. They don't look as cool as a dock, but I don't know. It's just I wish we could kind of go back to the way things used to be, but I don't want to sound like an old man, getting mad at Gen Z for their new
Get off
technology,
my
new skill
lawn.
sets. Yeah, I don't want to do that. So I guess we'll find a way to make it
Well, I
work.
think we can move on to our next topic here.
Cat
Let's
Williams,
talk about
he's back,
Katt Williams'
back in
explosive
black.
Shannon Sharpe interview.
So
You want me to
so
read
you
the,
watch this.
the stuff on it, or
Well, since you're going to elaborate on it, I'll sort of go through some of the talking points.
I
Um,
don't I don't know anything about this.
no, neither
I
do
actually
I.
so have you watched the interview?
No, I haven't. Have you?
You need to watch the interview.
So you watched the interview.
It is actually life-changing. There's a reason that 50 million people have watched this. It is
Hmm.
absurd how good Katt Williams is. Like
Damn.
it is actually absurd. Some of the stuff that he talks about doing, all this kind of stuff. But what happened is he came on to the show and like he literally just took over the interview in the
Cool.
first like 2 minutes. Shannon Sharpe had absolutely no idea what was going on. Maybe, I don't know.
Cool.
But he just was completely stunned by like Katt Williams just completely out of left field started calling out Cedric the Entertainer, Steve Harvey, Ricky Smiley, and like Kevin Hart and just like a bunch of other like kind of comedians. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
they're maybe good
Other
comedians, but
celebrities.
essentially like he kind of called it like a group that they just all would go to comedy shows and steal jokes
Hmm.
and then pass them off as their own work, essentially.
Right.
And so they're like, top of the game pretty much. It's just
Hmm.
Steve Harvey, he has his own TV show, but
Right.
he points out like all this stuff has been verified, people backing it up with facts of like
Hmm.
timelines and all this kind of stuff. And it's just absolutely wild. And Katt just goes on to expose the entire Hollywood industry of how like he was saying stuff about Harvey Weinstein back when it
Hmm.
wasn't cool to say it about him, and like now we know
Yeah.
what actually happens in Hollywood executive offices.
Right.
Yeah. And it to me it's really wild. Like I knew Katt Williams was a good comedian. I've seen his
Hmm.
stand up. I've loved his stand up. But like that interview, I think for a lot of people, they it it catapulted Katt Williams' career. We'll see how this goes.
It seems like
But
there's a
now
couple of people.
the view has 52 million views,
It's crazy.
and it's a 3 hour interview.
It's three
Three
hours. That's a long
hours.
time.
Yeah,
Did you get the thing?
I watched it over a couple different days actually.
Cool.
But it's funny because like
I'm
the
fucking
first comment
behind,
was
right?
like, you think I'm gonna watch a 3 hour Katt Williams interview in one
I
sitting?"
know,
And
right?
you're absolutely right.
The fuck. The fuck I
Yeah.
am. Cool.
And then
Yeah.
I'll just go ahead and put this out here. My favorite quote from his the entire interview is winners cannot let losers rewrite history.
Oh wow.
Like
That's very specific.
that's
It's
the
very
kind of level
direct.
that that interview is on.
That's insane. That's insane. I know we don't really cover stuff like this. We don't cover the entertainment industry. We don't cover really
Well,
celebrities that aren't in
yeah,
tech,
so
but it's
it's kind of
still
weird how
like
this
it's
kind of crosses over, but a lot of this had to do with, I mean, I think the first part of the interview was him calling out Ricky Smiley
mhm,
for
who I love.
making up stuff about the production of Friday After Next.
Hmm.
And he was going back and like trying to say like, oh, we were just like, we're just switching roles. It's like when Katt Williams actually developed the character for Money Mike, like
Hmm.
went out, made the clothing for him, got the car for him, like hired pimps, whatever. Like he did it all to make that character who it was. And Ricky Smiley was trying to just like, oh yeah, that was supposed to be my character, but I let Katt Williams have it or something,
Damn.
Yeah. And it's just emblematic of the industry overall, where this has happened to many black comedians. They'd be in famous comedy, like the Comedy Cellar. I don't remember what the names of those places are, but like Atlanta has the Laughing Skull. I don't know if you've ever been there in Little Five Points,
What's it
but like
called?
that kind of stuff. But it's like this tight group of entertainers would go out to these local shows, find big acts, and steal their
Hmm.
content.
Good God. This
Yeah.
has been sort of stated about a lot of comedians, in the past, not just people in this group, but I mean, there's been a lot of, it seems like there's something that comes out usually every now and then where comedians do, are accused of stealing jokes. I just don't know how it goes on for so long without someone calling them out. Like, what happened to make Katt Williams all of a
Well, it's
sudden just come in
impossible to
and
do.
like say all
Like,
this stuff?
like let's say Kevin Hart, right? Like you're doing jokes, Kevin Hart steals your jokes. You go say, "Hey, Kevin Hart, that was my joke. You stole it." And it's like, who are you?
Yeah, right. Of course, of course, of course. But like,
Like
what
that,
led
and
up to
that's
this?
literally as far as it
I should know
gets.
this stuff.
So it's actually wild.
It looks like he discussed. It looks like he also discussed mental health and addiction. It looks like the interview revealed Katt's ongoing struggles with bipolar disorder and drug addiction, offering a glimpse into his personal challenges. I always like when. Oh, I'm like scratching my arm on my video. Sorry.
Oh,
I
you
always like
definitely
when
have to watch this interview then. It's wild because I it's kind of hard to like believe, right? But
right.
he said at like 3 years old, he was already reading
Hmm.
like books, and he was raised in a very religious family. And at like 13 years old or something, got into a fight with his father and basically emancipated himself and like went to Florida.
Hmm.
And like that's the beginning of Katt Williams' life, apparently. Is at age 13, he's just like, I can't deal with this family anymore.
I
I'm
gotta
about
go. I gotta get out.
and he got out. And it was definitely a struggle. Like he's homeless for a long time, and he had to learn a lot. And it's just wow. Like, yeah.
Yeah, it
I
seems.
highly recommend this interview that anybody who hasn't watched it. It is unbelievable how good of an interview this is.
Yeah, it's I'm reading through some of the comments on the original article that we discussed, and I'm reading some of the things that he says. It look it got pretty intense. He talked about um Ricky Smiley and Tyler Perry only being good at playing women and not necessarily ever playing men roles to the best of their ability or to any ability at all. It seems like he
Yeah.
really went after a lot of other
Well,
entertainers
because it's
in
like
the industry.
it's because the way that he describes it is like
Why would
these
he go after
like
Tyler
Ricky
Perry?
Smiley
Oh my
would come
God.
out and say like, "Oh, I don't want to be an actor," right? Like,
Hmm.
that's beyond me or something. It's like, well, you're actually kind of terrible at it, and it's like, well, okay, like you're gonna start spinning all these webs that you don't want to be an actor because you don't like it, or like, and there's this other article that he brought up. It's like you're the top performer. I can't remember. It's like a Tanisha or something. You're the top performer in your field. If you turn down something, like they're coming after you to get a contract, right?
Yeah.
And she's out here complaining about not getting paid enough when there are literally other actors that are fighting and starving for stuff, and she's just like, oh, $10 million isn't enough. Like,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And it's kind of crazy because one of the things that came to light in this interview is that Katt Williams would just like go to stand-up shows and like tell some girl to go give a comedian 10 grand like after the show. Like he didn't go and give people 10 grand. He didn't give them any money. Like he gave somebody else to go give them money. So it just showed up on their door or something like this. Like
Interesting.
he's just been giving like hundreds of thousands of dollars away for years just to comedians because he liked their sets.
Interesting. That's good though. It's so you gotta
Yeah, it's absolutely
be good at that
wild. Like
level.
you think about these, he's actually supporting the communities that he's working
Exactly.
in. And then you got other comedians, you call them, that are going to these same things and they're stealing it from their own community.
That reminds me of Tiffany Haddish. I remember when she finally got big, she brought all of the comedians that she had met through her time of sort of struggling and not having money and then finally making it big. And she brought them over to her Netflix special and they all got to perform their acts on the big stage. So I think
Yeah.
it's always good from it. It's always cool when comedians sort of, I guess, give back to the people that they know have the talent but aren't necessarily in the limelight yet.
Yeah.
I think it's cool. You got to raise them up.
Exactly. You gotta bring yourselves up. That's kind of
Yep,
one of the
yep.
things that like it kind of gets me about Atlanta because I see like
I've
places
never
like
gone to a comedy
Riverdale
show before.
struggling so hard,
Hmm.
but it's like nobody, nobody's, none of those landlords for any of those business prop are like doing anything for their community. Like, what are they doing? Like, they're not repairing their roads in Riverdale. Like,
Hmm.
they're not building new buildings or like turning on the lights in most of these. Like, you go to any of those stores on Terra
Hmm.
Boulevard, like they're all broken into and like the
Yeah,
windows
yeah,
are boarded up and stuff. It's like if you're not going to spend any money in the city, like of course there's not going to be any money in the city.
yeah. Oh, River. Yeah, that's not too far from where we grew up in Fayetteville. I know it was common for us to go through Jonesboro and Riverdale, and it's definitely better than when we lived in that area. You know, it's gotten better, but definitely not up to the. It definitely, it definitely
Mhm.
could improve for sure. Bah. No, sorry, I just wanted to make a random fucking note. Are you typing in the document?
I just made a space after topic.
Do you want to go into topic three? Because we can
Yeah, I guess we can
also
move
share
into
our
topic three
business
here.
success after topic three. That way we can fill up the entire hour. So let's go into our third topic, the
Well,
decline of the
no, let's
physical.
do business stuff, right?
Okay, cool. And then we'll do the third topic after that.
Yeah. All
It's
right.
gonna
So
announce
before we
that
move
very
into our
nicely.
next topic, let's go and talk about some vertical bar media stuff. Where we at, Marcus? I know we've
Are
been on
we?
break for a little while. We've been working
Yeah.
on some stuff independently.
Now we're
Getting
back in
finally
action
getting
full
back into the
time.
studio to start doing some videos again. What's on your list?
So, social media profiles are back up full time. We're posting multiple times a day, right?
I
Um,
love it. I see it.
Yeah, dude, Facebook looks really nice. We're over what? We're at 1,400 followers on Facebook. I just searched for Facebook on Facebook instead of searching for Vertical Bar
Here,
Media.
let me Google on Bing right
I
quick.
know, right? I don't know how to use this stuff. Fuck. So we're at 1,300 followers on Facebook, which is awesome. Recent videos are going to be about Homeworld Mobile, which is a game on Android and iOS. Yay. Jared loves to play that's on
Marcus
Homeworld
died.
Mobile. The most recent one I think we call What's up?
You dropped there for a
Wait, you
second.
can't hear me? Oh, seriously? What about now?
Yeah.
Oh,
No, it
okay,
was your
good.
video froze, so it's like lag.
Oh, cool. So what is okay, but did you get the audio?
No, that's what we lost.
Fuck. All right.
Maybe we should take out video because it might be making the quality less.
That's okay.
I mean,
I will
that's the
turn off the
first
camera.
thing we've noticed in a half hour of recording.
Okay, cool. I'll leave it on then. Fuck it. Yeah, so on our Facebook pages, we've been posting some content. We've got Jared's been killing it with the Homeworld Mobile guides. And there's even a new Homeworld coming out. So
Oh,
we're going to definitely lead into that and get some video content on that whenever that
well, yeah.
releases.
I mean, we got some stuff that we can do for gaming. It's kind of interesting because I've been playing City Skylines 2 recently. There's a lot of content around that. I recently saw some channels doing some stuff for Cyberpunk where they're actually going through each one of the missions and like doing in depth on each individual mission in Cyberpunk. So I thought that was a really cool take on it. It's definitely some other things I want to explore too, but uh, yeah, Homeworld Mobile's doing good.
Yeah, dude, I know. And it's like I've been playing Super Smash Bros. A lot with my roommates, which has been awesome. But I am obviously going to be back into Final Fantasy 14 soon, so we'll have some content on that coming up. Also some content on Counter-Strike 2. I'm a huge fan of that. I may
Ooh,
throw in some
nice.
Fortnite. I may throw in some Fortnite videos. I don't know. Is Fortnite still a popular thing to record? And
Big
I
time.
oh, really? Okay, so then I
Big
can get into some
time. Yeah.
Fortnite. Okay, good.
I'm not prepared to do Fortnite streaming anytime soon because that's like literally a full-time gig.
Cool.
But that's legit.
Hell yeah. Yeah, no, I can definitely get into that. Also Final Fantasy Remake, or I guess it's Rebirth now because the remake was the first part of it. I haven't played yet, but I'm gonna get into that, and I'm also gonna get into Rebirth as well. So, there's also an Android game for Final Fantasy VII, which has been really good. It's called Ever Crisis. I need to record myself playing that so we can get that up. But yes, video games will be a focus on the channel, obviously going forward. I'm also going to start recording some videos for Microsoft 365 to sort of teach people how to use some of the Office programs like Word, PowerPoint, Loop, and maybe Microsoft Teams. So that will be coming up too. You know, Teams is confusing at first because it looks very simple, and then you start getting into all of the options and features, and it can be pretty complex. But utilize search,
Yeah, so
utilizing.
that's kind of one of the things that I struggle with
Mhm.
like Linus Tech Tips
Yeah,
is he does that. They don't like Teams, which
really.
there's certain elements to it, but like one of the things they're talking about is that Teams doesn't do code. Well, there's actually like a way
What do you
to
mean?
like you can't share code easily, right?
Oh, okay.
With Teams. But guess what? Teams is owned by Microsoft, which also owns GitHub, and
Yeah.
that means that there's a GitHub integration with Teams. So like if you manage your software with GitHub, you can already like share your code and like share your repositories super easy with Teams. But there might
Yeah, they
be
do on
different code
GitHub. You're
stacks
right.
that people use on that.
I didn't know that they didn't like Teams. Have they posted a video on their channel saying that they don't like it?
They bring it up all the time in
Oh,
the
they do?
podcast.
I probably should have. Oh, I more so watched the little the like tech linked and the short circuit clip, or I like 5-10 minute videos on YouTube. I haven't really watched a
Mhm.
podcast of theirs in full, but
Oh
maybe one
yeah,
of these days.
no, I love watching those podcasts.
So what's going on what's going on your end? You got anything cooking in the
Well, I
pipeline?
just added you to our organization here on
Hell
Teams.
yeah.
So we did a little bit of Microsoft admin up in there. Yo, got you in the Active Directory now, so you are officially able to start doing stuff.
Cool. I got Loop,
Which
Microsoft
is
Loop. I'm
very
excited for
exciting.
that.
It's really interesting on how to like actually make teams and like not only how to make teams work for an organization, but
Yeah.
like to do so with only just like one person or two people,
Yeah. Of
and like
course.
build the structure so that like if there's 30 people working on it, they can all do that like in the same kind of context that we are developing right now. Obviously the scalability is going to be one thing, but it's nice. I like that kind of stuff too. I love this like the infrastructure part of it, like building all
Mhm.
the little
Plugging in stuff, adding it,
yeah.
pinning it.
Yeah, getting the templates, getting the file structures, getting the teams organized. It would be really nice because I don't know what happened, but my Explorer looks like it just crashed.
Oh God. Your Internet Explorer? I'm joking.
No, Windows Explorer.
Oof.
Because like my desktop's gone, but I still have Teams running, and I still have the browser that I was looking.
Sounds like, yep. Got
So
fucked.
now I had to like nuke that process, and I'm restarting it.
Dude, you know what I love about Windows 11 is the task manager. It looks so much better.
Oh, dude, it's so much better now.
My fucking laptop for work is Windows 10 and the task manager looks so ugly. Ugh. Windows 11 looks so much better.
I do like Windows 11.
Man, I feel bad for the people that don't upgrade to it, because once you see how much more visually appealing, like there's just so many things that they've updated that, sort of fits the new way that Microsoft products look. And when you go back to 10, you start to realize little things like the task manager. It looks super outdated. The file explorer, notepad, like all that stuff in Windows 10 never got upgraded, so it still looks super grainy and just ugh, it doesn't look good at all. There's no tabs in notepad. Now Microsoft Paint is getting AI features, like all that stuff. Dude, it's not even, it's so different. It's so crazy what Microsoft is doing to all of their, I guess, their entire app ecosystem. And then once you get into their business stuff, it's, oh my God. That's why I plan on making all that video content, teaching people how to use it, because there's just so much to explore. There's so much to use, and there's just no way you can get in there and figure it out on your first try. So yeah, I think I'm going to call the video series Slideshow, possibly.
Yeah, so enough about that. Let's move on to topic 3. Walmart's reportedly starting to purge physical games next week. How do you feel about this? I mean, I grew up with physical media. Grew up with the cartridge that you had to blow into, and
I know, those were
that's how your
fun, weren't
game
they?
worked sometimes,
Those were super exciting.
right? But I
So
also lived in a time where like scratch discs mean that you couldn't play the game anymore. You lost access to it if the physical media started to fail. It's kind of bittersweet for me. Like I do. Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, personally, I'm not a fan of Walmart. I probably will never set foot in another Walmart if I don't absolutely have to. Like if there's not a gun pointed at me to go into the Walmart, then I probably won't.
It's like, when I go to you.
Just because I think that the business ultimately does a lot of bad for wherever it is. I mean, it does in some places it helps access to certain things,
Mhm.
but for the majority of a place like this, like you can drive down Highway 41 in Cobb County, and there's a Walmart every 3 to 4 miles. It's either on the left side or on the right side, but you go down a little bit further, and then there's another one on the other left side, and then you go down a little bit further, there's one on the right side, and then you go down a little bit further, and that's the one with the gas station, and there's a Sam's Club next to it.
It's
That's
a
over by the
family.
Marriott Diner. That's just like from I-85, like up to Cobb Parkway. It's like 6 miles, and there's like 5 Walmarts.
Lots of opportunities, huh? No, I'm joking. But like, it's bittersweet for me too. I miss the whole like going to the store and looking at shit, right, with my buddies and going down the aisle. Whenever I go to Walmart now, I'll look at the tech randomly because I like to make sure that the tech areas look good and up to par with my standards. I don't see anybody looking at the video games. It seems like people are never on those aisles. And this is at any place where it's like
Well, to me, I don't think that I just don't think that that's the way people purchase their physical media
they.
anymore.
So do you think they're ordering physical copies online?
Well, I know for Cyberpunk, I
Where
pre-ordered
do they
it.
go?
I pre-ordered the Ultimate Edition. It came in
And
like
did you
a game
get the
case. It
physical?
came with like a little figurine and like physical media and like I remember like the book that it came with and like all that stuff.
Nice.
Like I wanted that. It's like I remember waiting in line at midnight for Halo 2 to release in like 2006 or something.
Ooh, those were fun days. I do
Right?
remember
Like
waiting in
midnight
line for the
releases,
Wii.
like those were awesome
It
times
was
to
cool.
like
Yeah.
to have physical media and you'd open it up and like there'd be a guide and like it would have a breakdown of all the weapons in the game and like all this kind of stuff. Now you just buy Call of Duty like a code that you get and like maybe you get some unlockable stuff, but like you've lost that entire like feeling to it, right?
It's been shredded. It's been completely revamped and diminished. And it is
Although,
interesting because
well, I
future
mean,
kids won't be able
it's
to
just
have that
been,
experience.
yeah. I mean, it went from being the only way to access content, right? Like via disc or cartridge, to being something that's like a collection. Like you want to collect it, so it comes with more stuff. Because I'm actually really I don't know if I want to actually do it, but Homeworld 3 has a collector's edition, and it's $200.
And that's the newest one, right? That's the one that's coming out in February or
Yeah,
March?
so that's the PC version. So the Homeworld mobile that we do all the videos about, that's a mobile game for Android and iOS. But the game was originally developed for PC, and the third iteration in the PC series is coming out in March.
Hell yeah. Sorry, I was playing around with paint. So it does come out in March. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Wait,
launching March 8th.
Okay, cool. My birthday is
Yeah.
February 7th.
Yeah, and so this comes with like for $200 you get like a model of the ship. You get a couple smaller little models of like fighters and frigates. You get like a card game and decals, like stickers and like all that fucking cool stuff. Like
Which is awesome, yeah.
I miss that. And I understand that can't be in a $50 game or $60 game. But that's what I like about it now is that, hey, if you want to do this, if you want to get a collector's item, you can get that, and you can get the physical media, and you can get all that cool stuff that comes with it. But we're not eliminating access for people to just purchase an online code to be able to play it at their will, right? Without having to get all that physical media stuff. But it does raise the price a lot. I mean, $200 for a video game?
Yeah, but if it's something that you're going to be playing for years, it's totally worth the money. Here's what I don't get about this Walmart thing. It says, and this is what I'm reading right now. All Xbox games will be marked down at just 3 cents and effectively removed from shelves with sales blocked by the store's system. So are they going to sell the games for Are they selling the games for 3 cents, or are they literally just not selling anything? Are they trying to get? I don't know. It's weird. I don't know if that means that Xbox titles are going to be 3
Quick
cents.
edit to these topics. The topics should have a link to the article that you're talking about.
I'll make sure I include that.
Yeah,
so yeah, right now, yeah. Okay, cool.
I think there's an article up at the top, right? No, there's no links to the articles at all.
There's not. So what we're talking about, audience, is when I make the document that sort of gives us a preview of the dialogue, the information that we talk about in the podcast, I need to be making it easier for us to link directly to the article so that we can talk about this stuff like we know what's going on, which we do, but it's also at night.
Well, it's a learning thing.
It is a learning thing. You're right. We're not perfect yet, but we're near perfect.
So you say they're selling their games, but they're also making it impossible to buy?
It says that they're going to mark the games down to 3 cents per game for Xbox. I think they're starting with Xbox games first. But it says that the sale will be blocked by the store's system. So I don't know if that meant, are they going to throw the games away, or are they actually going to sell them for 3 cents? Maybe they have to take them out of their finance book or something. I don't know. That part's confusing to me. But it says
they might write off the purchase of all of their games and then sell them for 3 cents.
Cool.
I don't know. I mean, it's kind of strange too because Walmart is the way that Walmart is. All their video games are like in locked cabinets that have to be unlocked by like an employee. So it just drives up costs to be able to even like do that, which is so silly.
Now, are all other retailers going to follow suit? That's the big question.
What other retailers?
Walmart. There's Target. Do you think? What if GameStop stopped selling physical media and they're digital? What if this? I mean, you got to think about this stuff. Like,
I mean, Best Buy stopped selling DVDs. It's probably not too far from them to stop selling physical media.
So, do they sell Blu-rays though? Does Best Buy sell Blu-rays, or do they?
I think so.
Not? Do they sell HD DVDs? No, I'm joking.
No, nobody sells that.
I know. I
You
kind
got a
of wish
Betamax
HD.
player?
I kind of wish HD DVD had sort of become successful and then Blu-ray took over afterwards. I feel like Blu-ray sort of took over too fast because like nobody used all of the space in a Blu-ray disc when it first came out. I think
No.
HD DVD maxed out at 25 gigabytes and Blu-ray maxed out at like 80 or something like that. I don't
Yeah,
know.
dual layer Blu-ray was like
Totally.
50 or 80.
Yeah, nobody was using that back in what 2008. But it's still going on after all this time. There's not been a successor to the Blu-ray, and there probably won't ever be that because physical media is going away.
I mean, that's kind of interesting because Blu-ray still isn't the dominant form of storage medium. The
It's
dominant
not.
form of storage medium is still like archival tape
Hmm.
and magnetic disc platter.
Magnetic. Interesting. Yeah, I guess we're gonna have to bite the bullet and say goodbye to physical media going forward.
Well,
I
I
don't
don't
know.
think so. I think it's just going to move into this. Well, it is kind of strange, right? Because like I talk about physical games, purchasing a $200 collector's edition of Homeworld, but it doesn't come with a disc. And like even if it did, I wouldn't be able to put it in my computer. I haven't had a disk drive in my computer for 10 years.
Yeah.
Like, what would I put a disc in? There is actually nothing in my house that would play a disc. You want to know why? Because when my children were born, I got their ultrasound images on a
Mm-hmm.
disc, on a
Mm-hmm.
CD.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what I had to do? I had to take apart an old Think machine, take the disk drive out of it, and I had to like hack together some SATA connectors and power connectors and like literally just hang it out the side of a computer to be able to get a functioning disk drive for my
Jesus.
computer
Just to
to
see
be able to
your
read the
new
disk.
babies. That's
And you know what I
crazy.
did? I took those files and I 3D printed them.
That's so cool, though. Very
So I
so
literally
cool.
took like a CD, physical media, and
Mhm.
I made like 3D prints of the data on it, which is incredible to think about. But like, it can be easily replaced with an SD card, and it's easier in every form of like connecting.
Sorry to go off topic, but I do love that Teams is so great um at captioning everything that we're saying. I just feel, oh my
I've never
God.
tried the captioning app on it.
Oh, like it's at the bottom of the video for me. I guess you have to manually turn it on, but it's very accurate.
Yeah,
Do you
because
think
I've
it's
been
the
trying to
punctuation too?
turn on live caption.
Oh, it's more the three dots. If you're on the video itself, it's the three dots more and then language and speech, and then after that it will be turn on live captions. It should work. It's very accurate. It said diets for dots. Other than that, it's good. You need to,
Well, that's all the time we have for today on the Vertical Bar podcast. As always, it's been a blast exploring technology with all of you.
Indeed, it has, Jared. And remember, folks, if you want to learn more about the topics we've discussed, check out the description with links to our socials. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the Vertical Bar podcast for more tech adventures.
Absolutely, Marcus. We'd love to hear from you. Reach out with any of your questions, ideas, or just say hi. We're on all social media platforms as Vertical Bar Media.
Until next time, Jared, keep exploring, keep learning, and remember, the only constant in technology is change. Do 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 do
Nailed
do
it.
do do do. Cool.